Alright guys, so while I'm here, I'm gonna take a little break from eating because I want to be able to eat more. So I'm gonna get to cover a topic right now. Quite a few people asked me, what's my caloric intake while I was cutting, and how did I diet, etc., etc. So let me explain to you guys how I did it. So pretty much, when I was bulking, at the end of my bulk, my macros were, I think at the end of my bulk, my macros were 160 protein. Let me make sure. At the end of my bulk, I was at 160 protein. I was at 70 to 75 grams of fat, and I was at, hang on, 70 to 75 grams of fat. Okay, so here it is. At the end of my bulk, I was at about 160 to 180 grams of protein. It was super random. I was at 70 to 75 grams of fat, and then I was around 530 to 550 grams of carbs, depending on how much protein I had that day. It was really random, just depending on, I didn't really care too much, because you don't need to have so much protein when you're bulking. But anyways, so I was at about around 3,500 calories a day, right, at the end of my bulk. And so how I started the cut, actually at that time I was tired of eating, and I was like, I don't even want to eat this much. So when I started the cut, it was actually really easy. First I reduced my fats from 70 to 75 to a flat 60. I was always at 60, and that's about 90 calories down, and then I took 25 grams of carbs off. Okay, so I would do that. So I put my fats at 60. I made sure my protein was at 180, and then I lowered my carbs by 25 grams. And pretty much from there on, all I did was I would use the same macros, and until my weight stopped changing. I would check my weight every day just out of curiosity, but the only time I would actually care what my weigh-in was on Sunday morning. Because throughout the week, you're gonna have really random weight changes depending on what time you eat and stuff like that. Because as you're working and stuff, when you're working, you don't really, sometimes you don't have control over what time you want to eat and get to bed and blah blah blah. So, and then like poop in the morning. Sometimes you poop, sometimes you don't. But when you wake up late, you're gonna poop probably. So I mean, that actually matters for weigh-ins, because some people are like, oh my god, I gained weight, and then they like cut their macros, but really it's just poop weight. So I would only care about what my weigh-ins were Sunday morning, and that's what I would use to track. And so I would stick to the macros that I gave myself until the Sunday morning weigh-in didn't change anymore. Okay. And so once the Sunday weigh-in didn't change from week to week, then I would lower my carbs again by 50. At first I was lowering it by 50 at a time, 50 grams of carbs, but that's 200 calories. 200 calories. And a lot of people say like, yo, you need to cut 3,500 calories a week to lose weight. I mean, that's technically true, because 1 pound is 3,500 calories, but somehow just lowering the carbs by 50, it still was, I lost the weight fast. I was cutting weight fast. So that's all I did. And then once I started getting deeper and deeper into the cut, and I started feeling low energy, and I couldn't cut like from 300 carbs, I'm not gonna cut down to like 250, because then I'll just kill myself, I cannot do that. So once I started getting deeper into the cut, instead of going down by 50 grams of carbs each week, or whenever I didn't change weight, I would only go down by 25 grams of carbs if things weren't changing. And only like the last month or something I included cardio. I didn't really do cardio throughout my cut at all, because this takes a lot of time and it's really boring. I didn't have a nice way to do it. Only toward the last month and a half, I added in cardio, and it was only a little bit, like 20 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. So not bad. But that's pretty much all I did, is just use the same macros from week to week, and only when the weight didn't change on the Sunday weigh-ins, that's when I lowered my carbs 25 grams and see what happens. I didn't freak out during the week if my weight was going up. As you can search through my old videos, you can search through the videos. I always talk about how I'm not freaking out, my weight's moving up, but I'm not freaking out because I know come Sunday it's probably gonna lower. And one thing to keep in mind when I was cutting was when you're towards the latter stages of the cut, sometimes the scale says you're like going up a little bit, but you look in the mirror and you look leaner. Okay, so that's a very good way to tell. Like, look is more important than just what the scale says. The scale's not 100% accurate, but what you see in the mirror, that's a great way to judge how your weight gain is going. Ooh, what's that? Whoa, roast beef. Okay, anyways, sorry. Yeah, but that's a really good way to judge whether you're losing weight or not. But anyways, the point is just don't freak out, don't change your macros until that Sunday weigh-in just doesn't change at all. So, and then one thing that I really would have implemented like on a consistent basis is refeed days. So I noticed that, well, towards the end of my cut, I was just feeling drained and dead and exhausted, and it wasn't really plausible to cut more calories because I was already pretty low. I felt I wanted to eat, you know, and I couldn't do more cardio because I was just gone. Like, I felt dead, and I wasn't, you know, I gotta teach and stuff. I gotta work with kids, so I'm not gonna do that, you know. But what I noticed was whenever I had a cheat day, you know, went to Fukuyama or went with Brian or whatever, we had a cheat day, that would make me feel great and full of energy for like the next. I'm gonna take this duck thing because it's so delicious. Hang on a second, guys. Ugh. All right, so, you know, I would feel great after a cheat day or a cheat meal for like the next 4 or 5 days, you know, and I would be able to work harder in the gym. I would have more energy to do activity like go to the grocery store or walk around, whatever, and that would end up burning more calories, and I would always hit a new low weigh-in by the next week, within the next week. And I don't know, doing that just felt much better than just draining myself and like not eating ever. So next time I cut, I'm definitely, once I get later into the stages, I'm definitely going to have a refeed day every week. Kind of like right now, I'm doing a cheat day every week, as you can see. Just for fun, just to enjoy myself, but I'm definitely going to incorporate refeed days on a consistent basis next time, because I think that will definitely help. It definitely helps the mentality, and I think it will help my diet, because I noticed that I was able to consistently hit new lows whenever I had a cheat day, or cheat day or meal. But when I didn't, and I was at the end of my cut, and I felt exhausted, and I couldn't really go harder, or I just didn't want to, sometimes I stalled out, you know. So cheat or refeed days is definitely something I'm going to include next time around. But at the end of my cut, I'll tell you my macros at the end of my cut. But at the end of my cut, my macros were 170 protein, 270 carbs, and 60 grams of fat, and that is 2,300 calories. So that is pretty low. For me, that's pretty low. But that's how I was doing my cut. I know a lot of people asked, and I said, oh, I would make a video about how I did it later, whatever. So here it is. This is how I did it, and so I hope this helped you out in some way. Yeah, and later I'll make videos about how you find your macros and stuff like that, or a general way to find your macros. This is what I did with Brian, and he's seen great results. So later I'll do a video about that. But for now, this is how I did my cut, how I proceeded with it, what I recommend the refeed days next time. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you guys in the next video.